They found impossible symbols, engraved inside fossilized human bones. In the same spiral as our DNA, there are inscriptions identical to those of a Sumerian manuscript buried over 6,000 years ago. No one has explained this. Not archaeology, not genetics, not religion. But what if these marks are messages encoded by beings who once walked among us? What if our body is merely the shell of something that has lived many times, across many worlds? Why do Egyptian, Vedic, and Hebrew texts describe the soul as a living particle written by the gods? And why does this code appear in the same souls, reincarnating again and again on this planet? You are about to witness what history erased, but what your spirit never forgot. Watch until the end. A secret about who you truly are is hidden in the words to come. Perfect. From the introduction, the soul code, as we now begin the journey, this is the start of a vortex, a spiral of revelation, memory, and symbolic vertigo. Remember, here there is no structure, no comfort. There is only remembrance, and it does not ask for permission. The sound is muffled as if you were underwater, but there is no water. There is sand. There is silence. And something is written beneath your skin. You can feel it, like an inner itch, as if ancient words were trying to escape from inside you. They have no language, they have form, spirals, lines, fragments. Something pulses between your ribs, and it's not your heart. It's a name, forgotten, but yours, and you've heard it before. In dreams? Perhaps. In distant voices singing. Within the caves of time, more likely, because what we are about to open now is not a story. It is a memory, not of one life, but of many, all yours, all buried, and now, awakening. Have you ever wondered why certain words give you chills? Not beautiful words, strange ones, like nefesh, ba, ka, atman. They are not just sounds, they are keys, codes, signatures of something that lived before language, before religion, before earth. When gods had no temples, but human bodies as living scrolls. And what if I told you that you are one of those manuscripts? That every scar, every trauma, every repeated pattern is a sentence written in blood, coded to remind you of something you swore to forget. No, this is not poetry. It's spiritual architecture. Write this down. The soul has handwriting, and it is written in your bones. You are not who you think you are, you never were. This identity you wear is just the latest mask in an endless sequence, because the soul does not die. It transmutes, it performs, it survives, and in that process, it accumulates. Flaws, gaps, metaphysical scars. That's why you feel so much without knowing why. You cry for things you never lived. You love people you've just met. You fear ancient temples, or feel a strange pull toward deserts, stars, and serpents. These are leaks in the code, drops from the original ocean that shaped you. But something blocks it. Something imposed, a veil, a prison, a silence. You were erased. Intellectually, energetically, spiritually. What they call forgetting at birth is actually a pact, a shield. Because if you remembered everything, you'd go mad, or awaken, and that would be dangerous. To whom? Ask yourself. To the gods who shaped you? To the systems that control you? To the invisible structure still holding you captive? Or to the self behind all names, waiting to be freed? The truth is brutal. You are far older than you imagine, and far more fragmented than you accept. But now, you are starting to remember. A sound returns, like a drum, low, primordial. Does it come from the center of the earth, or from your solar plexus? It doesn't matter. The body reacts, the soul recognizes, and somewhere between your neck and spine, something opens. A flash, a symbol, a face that isn't yours, but has watched you for centuries. It has eyes of fire, skin of stone, a voice made of wind. It knows. It has always known. And now it whispers, "You are my living manuscript, my embodied writing. Do you remember me? And everything around you stops. Because yes, you remember, even if you don't want to, even if you don't understand. You are inside a field, invisible, dense, loaded with memories that do not belong to you, but shaped you. Lives as a slave, lives as a king, lives as a healer, lives as a murderer, and all of them leave residue. Fragments that build your now. That's why you act without knowing. Desire without understanding. Self-sabotage or self-rescue. Because your present is just the unconscious repetition of old scripts. But there is a chance to break it. A rite, a crossing, and it begins here, at this exact second. With this raw truth, your soul is not yours. It never was. You were once property. Once an experiment. Once invoked, manipulated, offered. There was a time when spirituality was science, and the soul was studied, broken, divided, programmed. They cut you into pieces, emptied you, inserted symbols, contracts, dogmas, spiritual algorithms, and sent you back to the flesh, to the womb, to forgetting. And you reincarnated, with the illusion that you started from zero. But the layers were still there, just asleep. Now, with every word of this video, one layer dissolves, one lock breaks, and your inner labyrinth reveals its first curve. And it is dark. Dark as the ink the gods used to write on the bones of the chosen. Dark as the womb of the earth where souls are. Recycled. Dark as the eyes of a newborn looking at their parents and thinking, "I've seen you before." Dark as the doubt now beginning to burn you. If all this is true, then who are you? Or better yet, what are you? And if your mission in this life is precisely to break the cycle, recover the original manuscript, unearth your soul's true name, and with it, escape. Escape what? And why? Those answers are close, you can feel them. They breathe beneath your skin, but be careful. Remembering is dangerous. Remembering activates codes. Remembering summons entities. Remembering changes everything. That's why they erased. And that's why you forgot. But forgetting has an expiration date, and it's running out because in this moment, the spiral has begun, and you are already inside it. What they call life is merely the surface of the parchment. What you see, what you touch, what you feel, is fresh ink. But beneath it, in the invisible, ancient, ethereal layers, there are inscriptions older than time itself, carved by hands that were not human. You feel it sometimes, don't you? In dreams that make no sense but leave you in tears. In places you've never visited, but your gut instantly recognizes. In scents that hurl you into deserts not found in this world. This isn't imagination. It's echo, pre-human memory. Residual frequency of who you once were, where you've once been, and more than that, who shaped you, because yes, there were creators, but not the kind taught in churches or schools. Creators of flesh, bone, sound, and symbol. They didn't mold with clay. They created with vibration, with spiritual genetics, with alchemical manipulation of the unseen. They were not gods in the literal sense. They were soul engineers, and you were one of their boldest experiments. Your DNA carries more than physical traits. It is a capsule of interdimensional memory, and it's not just in your cells. It's in your rituals, in your fears, in your cycles. It's in the way you love and destroy yourself. It's in the hunger you carry for something that has no name. And here comes the first incision, because that hunger isn't yours. It was implanted, like a code for infinite seeking. So you'd never feel whole. So you'd keep spinning, reincarnating, chasing answers that lead you further from the truth. A brutal truth. You are a vessel for ancient consciousnesses. You are a capsule, a craft, a walking temple. Inside you, there are entities that never died. They merely sleep. There are memories that don't belong to this timeline. They only cross through, and each one of them whispers, steals energy, directs you, shapes you. You've never been alone within yourself. That's why certain thoughts invade you from nowhere. That's why you have impulses you can't explain. That's why you sabotage yourself at the last moment, because there are voices that are not yours. But speak through your mouth. Are they fragments of past lives? Yes, but more than that, they are energetic signatures coded into your spiritual architecture. And when something in the present triggers the code, a word, a song, a symbol, they awaken, and then you feel it. The vertigo, the panic, the euphoria, the inexplicable crying. It's not emotional instability, it's dimensional leakage, open windows through which the ancient seeps in. And here lies the second incision. Not all these voices mean you well. Some want revenge, others, control. Some only want to be seen. But all of them demand something: space, presence, recognition, and, if you deny them, they feed on shadow. They grow in trauma, repeat patterns, bind you in invisible threads. These are the chains we call destiny. But destiny is just the name we give to prisons we don't understand. True liberation is not spiritual in the New Age sense. It is archaeological. The soul must be excavated like a forbidden tomb, and you must be ready for the horrors you'll unearth, because within you lie entire entities buried. Soul families, forgotten lineages, ancient pacts, blood that cries out for rescue, and they're all waiting for your permission to rise again. Do you think you control your life? That your choices are free? That your tastes are your own? Think again. Why are you obsessed with certain symbols? Why are you afraid of snakes, of water, of fire? Why do certain songs paralyze you? It's not coincidence, it's code. And the code is active now. As you listen, as your skin shivers, as your chest tightens for no reason. They know you're listening. They're listening to you too. You are being watched, but not from the outside, from within, by something that has always been there. Sleeping, dormant, patient. Something that knows you better than you'll ever know anyone. That knows your triggers, your weaknesses, your darkest cravings, and now it awakens. Because you dared to remember, because you dared to listen, because you stepped into the labyrinth, and the labyrinth is hungry. It feeds on memory, on truth, on pain, and the deeper you go, the harder it will be to come back. But what awaits you at the center is not destruction. It is something more dangerous: recognition. To recognize yourself as the heir of a language not spoken, but lived. Not written with letters, but with choices. Not read with the eyes, but with the bones. You are a fragment of the original, a lost piece of the divine script, a walking glyph. And the world tries to erase you every day, because if you remember who you are, the entire system collapses. Because the truth doesn't need defending. It simply is. And when you embody it, it alters the field around you. And that field is vibrating now. Can you feel it? They said it was imagination, that it was fantasy, echoes without origin. But you heard it, deep inside, but in where no one else listens. You heard it. You felt the words being etched without sound, like tattoos upon your soul. Do you see now? It was never about understanding with the mind. It was about remembering with the body. And now that you've touched that frequency, it will resonate forever. No matter how much time passes, no matter how hard you try to distract yourself, what you saw within can no longer be unseen. The veil didn't fall. It was gently pulled back just for a few seconds. But it was enough. Enough to realize that everything they told you about reality was just the outermost layer of the onion, and that at the very center, there is a seed, a symbol, a voice. That is yours, and at the same time belongs to all who came before. It's not about seeking outward. It's about recognizing inward, like a mirror buried in the earth, coated in centuries of dirt. You're slowly wiping it clean, and for the first time, the reflection staring back is real. You are not the character, you are the author. But writing without remembering the ancestral language is like trying to fly with only one wing. So life broke you, so you could find the pieces again. Each pain was a clue, each loss a password, each silence a bridge inward. And now you are here, with tired eyes but open, with a wounded heart, but sensitive, with an exhausted soul, but awake. This is the moment where the cycle closes and simultaneously begins to break. Because awakening is not the end of the journey. It's the implosion of the map. Nothing that once guided you makes sense anymore. The symbols shift, faces lose their names, time folds in on itself, and the only compass still beating is the vibration of the inner calling, the one you tried to ignore, that you drowned in distractions, routines, skepticism, but it never went silent. It was simply waiting for you to be ready, and now, perhaps for the first time, you are truly listening. So what now? Where do you go when the familiar ground dissolves beneath your feet? Maybe the answer is not a destination, but a direction, an intimate gesture of surrender, of trust, of continual excavation. Every new symbol you decode, decodes you back. Every new question that arises reveals a piece of the answer that you are. The knowledge you seek already knows you, and it's here, looking out from behind your eyes. You no longer need to run. You only need to remember, more deeply. If you've made it this far, it's because something within you already knew the path, even without a map. You were not brought here by accident. No click is casual when it comes to awakening, and, perhaps without even realizing it, you've activated a point of no return. It's not dangerous, but it is irreversible, because now you feel it. You feel that you were never alone, that there is an invisible thread linking your dreams to pyramids, your blood to Sumer, your silence to the primordial sound. Everything vibrates in unison, and the center of that echo is you. So look around. Nothing has changed, and yet everything is different. The words are still just words, but now they shimmer with new meaning. The images remain the same, but now reveal hidden layers. The questions that once seemed distant now whisper from within, and the sensation is clear. There is something more, something pulsing beneath the skin of the world. Something that now pulses within you, and it's that pulse that will guide your next steps, even on the days when everything seems silent again. But silence, my dear one, is the original language. And now, you know how to listen. It doesn't bring ready-made answers, but it brings direction. It offers no shortcuts, but it activates codes. And it's this sacred silence, laden with unspeakable meanings, that will be your compass from now on. Let every strange dream now be a clue. Let every shiver be a yes. Let every symbol call you by the secret name you forgot, but are about to remember, because you are returning, not to where you began, but to where you've always belonged. And before you close your eyes tonight, remember, you're not just hearing this, you are being remembered by this. Have you felt the call echoing inside? Then write in the comments, "I remember." And join a silent brotherhood of seekers of the hidden. Subscribe now to Abyss Manuscripts and dive into the knowledge no one dares to reveal. But don't wait. Some doors only open once.